Well, that pretty much sums up what I want to talk about in this video. Hey, my name is Rod, the Futures Fanatic. Welcome back to the channel. A little over a week ago, I posted this video, which is an interview with John Skelton from Apex Trader Funding. I will point out also that just in the interim week or so, Daryl has also done some interviews. So Apex has never really walked away from explaining their situation or any type of controversy. But as a follow-up, I wanted to provide a quick update to some potential upcoming announcements that you'll see from Apex. They've already started to put some of that out, and provide some color commentary on the stats of the interview, along with kind of how content moderation works on YouTube. And then to whatever extent I can, I'm looking to see if I can use the vortex that's been created from this post. Typically, my videos don't get that many views. I actually don't post that much. This one has maybe 25,000 views and lots of comments. And I just wanted to use it as an opportunity to potentially do what you're not supposed to do in the trading space, which is provide some advice, if you will, and the pun is intended, from this guy who's actually been around for a little while. So if you'd like just to jump to the parts in this video that are just about some of the updates from Apex, which by the way aren't that specific, I will make sure I leave timestamps down below if you're not the kind that likes to hear a little bit of a rant. I also might tend to get a little snarky in this video. It's what I can tend to do. So what I'm going to cover in this video is essentially the updates that are coming from Apex, as well as just a little bit of trading advice if people stick around for it. So that's what I'm going to cover in this video. What I'm not going to cover is like responding to the thousands of comments, and that's for two reasons. Firstly, I really don't have time, and then secondly, social media has really never been an environment for meaningful conversation. And I guess thirdly, I'm just really not equipped to the whole answer the public. There's this saying, there are no stupid questions, just stupid people. I think there's actually plenty of both. But the good thing is that is actually in the minority, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. So I'm also not here to persuade anyone or convince anyone, and I wasn't trying to do it in the actual interview either, that your experience or opinions with Apex are right or wrong or misguided. I think like just about everything these days, people get entrenched in their views and are fine to exist in sort of this reverberating echo chamber that feeds the beast of perception. Okay, so before I cover the Apex updates, I wanted to firstly just sort of state the obvious, which I also mentioned in the interview. By the way, I will leave a link in both places to the interview if perhaps you actually didn't see it. I think it's definitely worth seeing. So you don't have to trade with Apex. I mean, you don't have to buy 20 accounts from them. You don't have to ever pay for a reset since the account is automatically reset if it's blown. You don't have to choose any of the trailing drawdowns. They have a static drawdown account. They always have. No one chooses to trade that very often. So I know that the vitriol and a lot of the comments, which again are in the minority, that's going to be the whole purpose of this video, is using data and statistics and reality to sort of temper what we might see out there, or our perception of what we might see out there. So I want to address just the payout piece for a moment here. So there's some people, and this is a very small minority, as I'll discuss in a bit, that seem to take pride in identifying themselves as victims, as being wronged by Apex. There's others that sort of seem to be in this pile-on group that, Apex is a scam, even though they've never passed an evaluation, never had a PA account. They just are piling on. And again, I want to point out, this video is only to reflect the reality of some of the data behind the scenes, which I'll show in just a moment, and not to try to persuade you or be right or be combative. That's not the goal. I'll leave the comments on again. I'm not here to say that your experience is not genuine. I'm just trying to set the record straight in terms of actual experiences, in terms of payouts, actual experiences in terms of the majority of the experiences with these firms, okay? So where it gets even more sad for me is like these comments that are personal against the folks that started and provided this service. And I'll leave it there. And again, those are all minority voices. But when I see these kind of like all caps comments, I mean, it just, maybe this will show my political stripes again a bit. I just think of all those geniuses that like decided to throw away their Bud Light. So I just wanted to reiterate a few times what I said in the interview as well. So you have all this choice in prop trading because of Apex. Top Step is a better program because of Apex. Firms like Fast Track Trading, and the direct accounts exist because of Apex. And now there are like dozens and dozens of firms out there. Let's talk about them. Trade Day, UProfit, Perdia, Earn to Trade, Blue Sky, Elite Trader Funding, My Funded Futures, OneUp Futures Trader, or OneUp Trader, which has been around forever, Bullinox, and many others. And most of them exist because of the opportunity in the marketplace that Apex gave the marketplace by attracting so many traders to it. Okay. So again, I point this out only to try to create a little bit of a sense of balance, which is, missing from our conversations. Really has nothing to do with the prop trading industry, just as a global community. And I get a tad wonky here. We don't have balanced discourse. So you can think what you like about Apex, or you can think, of course, what you like about any firm or service or business or product. But what I want to get into today is how we actually find the source of truth. And I'll get into that in just a little bit. So, okay, now for the Apex specifics very quickly. So first of all, I don't have dates on some of these things, and it's already started to be communicated by Apex. I'll leave some links to videos that I'm sure you always see or take a look at from the firm. So the first is that Treasuries are going to be back. They'll be back probably sometime in the next couple weeks. But even as I'm recording this, I've learned about people manipulating currencies now. So now they're going after currencies, so the same stuff is happening, and it's the downfall of data feeds and simulated data feeds, but hopefully they'll get that resolved and you won't see currencies go away, although I think far fewer people are trading the futures currencies than we're trading the bonds, but I don't know that for a fact. The next thing is that what's called DCA, which I'm referring to as scaling. I know these two things get overlapped sometimes because scaling is also something that's applied in other firms and might be applied at Apex sometimes too, which is limiting your buying power as you progress or move into a PA account. But I'm referring to what they call DCA, dollar cost averaging, which I call campaigning or scaling. That's going to be back, okay, and in a way in which you can add to unprofitable positions. I also found out that there was plenty of people that were just deciding to get around that in their own way by buying one and then another, and then they would buy a correlated instrument. So you buy the NASDAQ, and then you buy one more NASDAQ, and then you're done there. So it goes a little lower, and you buy the S&P, and then you buy the Dow, and then you buy the Russell. And on days where things are correlated, if it works out, you haven't broken the DCA rule, but you're trading in a way that has nothing to do with real risk management. Okay? So it's almost like these rules are set, and then people figure out how to fly as close to the sun as they possibly can, and then complain when they're called out about it, if by the letter of the law, they are still coloring within the lines, if you will. The other thing is that regulation is coming. So I wanted to provide my own update on that, which is simply just means that there will be some form of required parameters that these firms will have to abide by. I don't know what those are going to be, okay? I've suggested a couple different things. It could be that you have to pay professional data fees. If you have to pay professional data fees on every single account, obviously people are not going to have a whole lot of accounts because that would be extremely, extremely expensive. It could also be that there's no more sim live or a hybrid period and people go direct to live. That's also going to limit the amount of accounts. There's a variety of other things that might happen. None of this is imminent, but it feeds into what I want to talk about today so that we can start to move from what I said in the video, and this is no slight on Apex or any other firm, but these programs are carnival games. They have zero basis in actual trading, okay? Zero, 100% zero. But I still believe in them because they are a very good opportunity for people to learn how to trade if they keep their costs low and to use leverage across accounts instead of per account, which I've talked about in other videos, simply meaning that you can't open 10 or 15 sub accounts at other firms with a little bit of money in that and then play the game of trading a very small account that you now have all this copying and replication on. It's a great opportunity. What people are doing, though, of course, is using as many contracts as they possibly can, maxing everything out, blowing the accounts up so that they can just sort of move on. I covered all that in the video and these types of behaviors. And I get it that there are people that believe vehemently, and I understand where you're coming from, that, hey, Apex was fine to take all my money for as long as it took me to figure out how to figure it out. But the amount of people that really figured it out, they didn't figure out trading. They didn't figure out risk management. They just figured out how to profit the most within the framework that they were given. Okay? And I get it. Okay? But I've been in sales for a long time, and I used to manage huge sales teams. And I hated when I had to do this, but it was just reality. Guess what? Some of my best sales guys, what did I have to do? Decrease their territory and increase their decrease their territory and increase their quota as a punishment for success. That's reality in business, okay, folks? So it wasn't that they just, were just sitting there waiting for people to sort of figure this out and then come back with these draconian rules. That's not the case. However, I'm already getting off on a tangent, so maybe I'll edit some of that out. Maybe I'll leave it in. I don't know. So here's the most important thing. You're going to see very soon, and I don't know the details on this, a rule on a drawdown that will become kind of the one rule. This will be only in PA accounts, and the idea is you start every session, the session that starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with a particular account balance. Let's say you have a $50,000 account, and it's well above the profit threshold. It's like $54,000 or something like that. Your account balance is $4,000 at that point. There will be just a soft, not hard, soft, a soft rule that says, hey, if you draw down more than 30% during that session, you're technically in a violation. It's not going to stop you out or do anything like that. It's not going to remove your account. You don't lose your account. But if you do that repeatedly, if you repeatedly produce profits in a non-risk adjusted manner, in other words, very often you're drawing down 50 and 60 and 70% of your account, and then you're fortunate that it sort of comes all the way back. And by the way, if you want to say, hey, that's just the way I trade and that's bullshit. That's just bullshit. That's the way you might manipulate this system, but that has nothing to do with real trading. You have no interest in actually developing a skill, okay? And that type of customer currently is very prevalent within Apex, and full disclosure, as they said, they attracted that type of customer, okay? And they're not just going to wean everybody off and go, okay, the party's over, see you at the door, no more free drinks, no more of that. It will be a gradual process, okay? But if you are such that you are constantly drawing down more than 30% of your account frequently, I don't know what the numbers will be. I don't know if it's 2 times or 5 times or 1 time. You'll just get a warning. But this is what I've been asking for in prop trading forever, a daily risk budget. This is what we talk about in my group. It's a self-imposed. This one isn't self-imposed. It's a soft guideline associated. But even though that seems like, well, it'll be wishy-washy, no, it won't. You'll know what that percentage is. You'll be able to calculate it yourself. And if by chance you get contacted by a risk manager that has said, hey, for this reason, this is why we are going to either withhold a payment or notify you that if this behavior continues, you will not be qualified for funding or for payouts in this particular account. I don't know if that number's 20% or 30 or 40. I asked for it to be 10. Oh my goodness. Blasphemy. Rod, you mean I'm supposed to trade a $2,500 or $3,000 profit that I made in silly money with a 10% daily drawdown? $250, $300? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And in this video, which is going to get pretty long, I'm going to go into how I do this every single day in not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 live accounts that I have set up. And I've only done this for the purposes of tracking and to show my community that this is actually possible and the benefit of risk-adjusted trading using micros and small accounts. Because I'll get into in just a moment, if you're trading a mini, 1 mini in an account less than $10,000 or $15,000, you're over-leveraged. I have been doing this a super long time. I started trading the E-mini in 1997. I started trading the futures markets in 1993. And I have spun up before I became a little bit more enlightened. I took 3,000, 5,000, 7,500 up to 50,000 many times and then lost it all. Many times and then lost it all. But what would have I had to have done? I would have had to have taken a profit and then started with a smaller amount. You don't have to do that in these prop programs. You can just spin up $2,500 as much as you want. And if I know that those of you that are doing this, you know that's not real trading. You know that, okay? But you want to come out here and just spread all this misinformation so that we actually can't teach the marketplace or newer traders, or maybe there's some of you that don't really know what margins are, so I'm going to go into them just a little bit. But it doesn't serve traders, your fellow man, the community, this industry, anything like that, if you are doing that. Now look, I did that for 10 or 15 years. At one point, me and one of my business partners spun like $7,500 up to well over $150, okay? And there are people in these prop programs that are doing that all the time. But guess what? They're not doing it with one account or with one strike against them. They're doing it with 20 accounts, 200 accounts, okay? And then complaining when the party's over a little bit. That's what's happening here, okay? It's not, oh, you're just looking for reasons not to pay me. Look, there was a lot of free drinks. There was a lot of cool partying going on. Some people took it pretty far. You can say that Apex brought them on themselves. That's a lot like saying, you know, I don't know, someone just threw a party and it got out of hand. Parties can get out of hand, you know? I've been to some fair parties that got out of hand. There's something going on right now where I've been told that pretty much all the people in the know left the party around 2 or 3 in the morning, if you know what I mean, before it really got crazy. So you're going to see at some point this new rule around that, okay? Now, I get that there's some of you that are going to say, look, this is just Apex changing the rules again and you know, fiddling around in the dark to try to find another thing that's going to trip us up. And how will I know when I go under 30%? Don't hate the messenger. You can hate the messenger. Leave a comment below. I don't frankly care. But that will be the message, okay? The message is going to be that there's some form of realistic daily drawdown that you will be allowed to impose, not 100% of your account. And hopefully they'll also implement what I call scaling, which simply means limiting the amount of contracts you can trade for a certain period of time. I know a lot of you guys are going to hate that. Hey, I want to sling full size in my eval. I want to sling full size in my evaluations. I'm entitled to that. I'm a great trader. Okay, enough with the nonsense. Okay, and then finally on probation really quick. Apex has already gone into this quite a bit. And this is going to feed into what I want to talk about today, which is actual stats and actual data. You would think that everybody out there is in this status. It's a super small part of the Apex community, okay? Really, really, really small part. But still, I'm trying to understand what is the motivation. And please leave a comment down below and try to make it thoughtful if you disagree with me on this, okay? I want to understand how many people, and this is many people within this small cohort, the minority, maybe 5 to 10% of the people that watch the video, but 80 to 90% of the people that actually comment, okay, are somewhere around this, you know, Apex, they're defending this type of person, this avatar, if you will. Apex owes me $52,000. I did nothing wrong. You know, I mentioned this same sentiment before. They gladly took my money, you know, while I paid for 322 PAs that I activated, and now that, you know, the cookie is finally crumbling the other way, they deny me. Okay? Or the outside of that is like, you don't know what I've been through, man, because you only get timely, hassle-free payouts because you're an influencer and you promote them on YouTube, which is like the silliest thing ever, because until a few months ago, I hadn't taken a payout at Apex since they launched in late 21. Because I didn't need to. I knew John, I knew Daryl, I tested out the program, I took out a few payouts, and that's all I needed to do. I've been very fortunate in my trading and my other investments. I'm a pretty well-off guy. I don't need access to these types of accounts. But when I decided to do it again, none of this was ever an issue. And this was before instant approval or all these things, just because we did it the right way. And when I say me and anybody who will listen to me, who was just slow and steady trading micros, I qualified for $150,000 accounts recently trading micros, $9,000. How many micros? Maybe 2 to 3 across a couple markets. So that might be 6 micros total. And that's possible. And by the way, I'll leave a link down below if you care. Some of you don't want to ever hear me again as long as this video is going. But you can check out my trade room for 2 weeks for absolutely free, and you can see it every single day. It's right there in front of you. The screen and all my profit and loss is right in front of you. It says Apex PA 150. I'll show you exactly what's happening, okay? And if you chose to trade that way, and I'm not saying you have to, look, some of you have the skill to dance between the raindrops and still manage to profit heavily from these programs while they still exist this way. I'm not going to encourage you to do that, but if you have developed that without manipulating the data feed and without following known scammers that are doing other nefarious things, and you want to continue to get free drinks until officially they shut down the casino, then I get it. I understand. Talk to your VIP host, right? But if you want to use this opportunity as an inflection point to actually prepare for the future, also pun intended, then stick around for the rest of this video so you can see the actual stats and then see that this is actually possible. Okay, let's get into the video stats here. I want to jump into YouTube and I'm going to show you what this video did. Okay, so I'm logged into YouTube Studio here, and I'll try to zoom in on this when I post this video. This is the video right here. It's right here. So I guess it doesn't have nearly 25,000. 20,000 views, 20,800 views, 1,000 comments, and this is what I want to cycle on, okay, is 859 likes, 92, almost 91%, okay, and 83 dislikes. Then I can go and look at the comments relative to some other data, and wouldn't you know that the vast majority of the comments reflect the people that dislike the video because people want to make their voices heard. You also probably noticed that, I don't know when it was, maybe a couple years ago, YouTube, not so quietly, or actually pretty quietly, I guess, they warned content providers a long time for this, like we would care. They said, hey, we're going to remove visually showing the dislike button because all of our studies have shown it doesn't really matter. We know the data as content creators, and YouTube knows the data. If a video gets a lot of dislikes, it's not going to be served to more people. That's just how it works. Okay, people don't like this content. It's not going to be served. But when it has 91% likes, and by the way, I purposely in the video did not tell you to subscribe to my channel. Thank you to everybody that did find about me and the content that I create. I also didn't tell you to like the video. I didn't call out anything like that. I did say probably at the end to make sure you use my code if you manage to get through a 2-hour video. This one might actually end up being 2 hours. Okay, so 1,000 comments, which I can't go through, and there's no purpose in adding doing anything more than that. Is just to show that about 90% of people felt that this content was useful. I'm not saying they liked the policies they heard, or they liked the lighting in John's video, or liked the way I did the interview or anything else. They just hit the like button, and that's pretty much reflective of the reality behind the scenes. So what we've really done is amplify the 10% of experiences that are happening out there. Could you imagine? There's so many industries where if they had even 70 or 80% approval ratings, they would be, obviously politics, but like, you know, cable companies are just loathed. There's just nobody that likes their cable company or the service or all these kinds of things. There's plenty of industries in which approval ratings are right around 50%. But here, let me switch to something positive that I wanted to show you, which is I'm going to click on this and go to the analytics of this particular video, because I want to thank everyone that watched it, okay? This video has generated $563 in AdSense revenue, okay? I almost generate very few dollars from, I think my YouTube channel makes $100 or $150 a month in AdSense, which simply means the money that is paid by YouTube when they run ads in the video. And I left videos on for this ad. So what I'm going to do here, and by the way, thank you for the 300 subscribers that came as a result of this video, and all the watch time of it, okay? I'm going to take this $563 and everything that it generates through the rest of the month, probably for the lifetime of the video. I'll check back from time to time. And I want to tell everybody about Kiva.org, okay? For the 5 people that are still left watching. Okay, Kiva is not a charity. Kiva is a micro loan, and I kind of like the fact that it's sort of micro traders. By the way, I'm predominantly not a micro trader. I sell options on futures. But for the purposes of the Futures Fanatic YouTube channel and trading education and the way these prop programs should be done right, it's micros. It's micros producing micro loans. So I won't spend too much time on this, but I have been working with this organization for over 24 years. They've been fully vetted. The money all goes in direct lending loans to people throughout the world, where a dollar goes a lot further than it does in lots of parts of the United States, Europe, and other parts of the world, okay? Or your euro goes further, okay? So I'm going to take the entire amount and do another loan here. Here's what's great about this. Again, it's not charity. So what happens is, thank you to everyone that watched this video and generated this revenue, because now we're going to actually give back and put in perpetuity, sort of a pay it forward, and then it gets paid back on and on and on and on. So look, everyone's got their own charity that they're kind of into. I'll say once again, I like lending to entrepreneurs around the world because it's not a charity. I'm not just giving them the money and they never give it back. They pay back 96.7% of the loans. And then all I do is lend this $550 out in perpetuity to other entrepreneurs. So thank you for that. That's what we're going to do there. The other last thing that I wanted to just talk about real quick for those that care, if you don't happen to have a YouTube channel or anything like that, is that this is the way comments work, okay? 3 things to know here. 1, there are some people that have been blacklisted because of their behavior on either on a channel frequently or just in general in YouTube, to where their comments are not able to be published. They're filtered out so that I only see them for a very brief period of time, and then I can't even do anything with them. I can't even respond. I responded to 3 or 4 very quickly because I knew for a fact that they were going to get removed. And then the accusation is you are thwarting the conversation. And I want to mention this because we do live in a world right now where I'm on board with everybody, left, right, and center, that our media has failed us, and you have to go out of your way to find anything that is unbiased truth. It's so freaking hard, okay? So what I wanted to assure everyone is that the way this works on YouTube and the way I have it set up is, if you didn't see your comment there, good, bad, or indifferent, snarky, calling me an asshole, whatever, I have no control over it, okay? Anything that was held for review, which is generally stuff that is pretty out there, I published all of that, everything that I could publish, okay? So the conversation that you see in this particular video, and if you cared to go down the rabbit hole of replying and reading all these particular comments, or if you use social media as the way to sort of gauge what's going on in the world, I just wanted to let you know that this is kind of how this works. And indeed, there are content creators and stuff who can turn off comments, not publish certain comments, moderate, delete, do all those kinds of things. I'm not looking to be a hero here. I really don't care what anyone thinks, but I just wanted you to be aware of the reality of this situation. So there you go. So as we say in my trade room, the soundbite. Well, I don't say, we play the soundbite. That's all I have to say about that, Jenny. All right. Okay. So we did a quick update. I don't know how any of this is quick. We did an update on some of the stuff that's coming from Apex soon. I talked a little bit about that particular video. Now I just want to use this last part of the video that I hope I'll just get through a lot quicker. So now I just want to shift gears and, as I mentioned early on, potentially use the momentum that's been caused from this video, which is going to be clickbait in terms of the thumbnail. And you wouldn't know it unless you got to this part where I say something. I think I'm going to say something like the Apex aftermath. This video is not really about the aftermath of posting that video or what's happening with Apex right now. What I wanted to use this opportunity is because, like, in this world that we're living in, I mean, there seems to be an increasing inability to really have a conversation about anything or establish anything that approaches like consensus on things like, you know, is someone an expert or authority, or have they checked their facts, or do they know their data, or, you know, even like truth, okay? Like what's the truth? And we used to joke when I was way back at Merrill Lynch, like there's only 2 kinds of information, right? There's inside information and no information. Like either you know for a fact, like directly know, not hearsay, third party. This is way before social media, or you don't. And I know that concept of inside information got a little stigmatized, but that's really what we should be searching for in this world, in my opinion, is who really is on the inside in a positive way, or that we can believe because they know what is actually going on at a company, at a firm, with a particular situation, boots on the ground, in a war zone even. So if you humor me for just a moment, I want to provide some, dare I say, social proof, right? And you can consider it or reject it. It's completely up to you, all right? But next year, I turn 55. As I said, I've done pretty well in my life, so I can afford pretty good skincare. 55. That's double nickel. If you know trading terminology, that means I've had a 5 handle in front of my name, in front of my age for going on 4 or 5 years, right? Lots of rotations around the sun, lots of oxidation. So I've traded futures, real live futures contracts, for 29 years. I have a series 3 I don't ever want to be regulated again. I can pass a test. A series 3, a series 6, a series 7, a series 63, a series 65. And I was actually going to look up if I took another one, but I didn't really have time. I'm a former CTA, NFA member, that's National Futures Association, okay? There are very few people that even create content in financial education that have that type of background. I'm not asking you to trust me or anything like that. I'm just trying to have a one-way conversation to try to figure out what it takes to get people to just stop for a moment and maybe just think. I was a debate champion, so I really want to try to persuade and win here, but I'm going to resist those temptations just to actually think. Okay, so that's that background. Also, while I was trading full-time, I had various stints at all kinds of financial trading and quant-related things and consulting. I was a COO, Chief Operating Officer of Collective2, which if you're not familiar with, I'll leave a link to Collective2. I'll put it up here on the screen. It's the world's largest marketplace of sort of automated trading strategies and trade leader follower copy trading between a live brokerage account and another live brokerage account. Okay, and through that relationship, about 7 or 8 years, I looked at over 71,000 traders and their trading strategies. All right. And I've consulted with a lot of these prop firms on what they should do. And many of them take my advice and then choose to go out into the marketplace in a very competitive way and essentially just kind of do their version of Top Step, which is fine. Again, I think these programs aren't perfect, but they're a great learning tool, as I mentioned, and on a cost-adjusted basis, a great way to get into a business. And also through various investment vehicles, I've been involved in like active trading opportunities at prop, at platforms, market making, and consulting, all right? But I'm also a guy that makes YouTube videos. In this case, like really long YouTube videos. And I'm also an accidental affiliate. And I just want to say, this part is hard because about 1.5 years ago, I had this little calling, like I should probably not create any more content, remove my affiliate links, and move on if I can't have more of an impact in getting people to do these things right. Because about 1.5 years or 2 years ago, the big problem was resets. I mean, there were people that, because I can see the sales, right? I don't have access to everyone's information, but I can see the sales that were resetting accounts 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 times a day, which was clearly a major addictive behavior, okay? And I thought that there would be some self-regulation, and it never really happened, okay? And this was not only at Apex, it was at many firms. Apex was probably the place where it was most amplified because they offered the most amount of accounts. And I had a real problem with that, so much so that I was the one that really influenced the firms to adopt the free reset when your subscription renews. That was me, okay? Across all these firms. Every time a new firm came out, like when I interviewed Elite Trader Funding, when I interviewed Take Profit Trader, when I interviewed all these guys, I said, look, you have to include this if I'm going to talk to you. Okay, you have to do this. I mean, I literally said, like, if you want your program to be fair and equitable, give people a reset so they're not incented to buy these resets. But guess what? The reset numbers really didn't go down that much. So when I saw them not really go down that much, I thought, okay, I'm going to use this for good. And it's the same thing I'm trying to do with this video, which is that when I post something on volatility and volume as two things to look at in developing a trading strategy, No one watches that video. I mean, literally almost no one. And I even paid to have it professionally edited. No one watches that. 20,000 people watch the one with John at Apex. So I'm just going to continue to use the dangling carrot, which is these prop programs, as a point of discussion. And I'm not alone. There's probably now 100 people making content just about prop trading that have all started up their little YouTube channels. About a year ago, I was super excited about that because I thought, oh my goodness, now we can bring more people into the beauty of futures trading. So they're not trading stocks. Stocks were never meant to be traded. They're meant to be invested. They're capital inefficient. The futures markets is meant for speculation, not the type of speculation that some of you are now doing. But unfortunately, a vast majority of this new crop is not really adding any potential value, but different strokes for different folks. I'm just here to say that, I'm going to stick with promoting prop programs. I just did a video from a new firm called Profit Trade that you can find here on my channel as well. They're doing things mostly the same, but offered a few little differences and an incentive that I decided to promote. So it's not about loyalty or who's the best, although I am going to 100% do a video very soon where I go through, in my opinion, again, just a guy who's been around for a little while, and I've been doing prop since even before Top Step. So just so you know, Jump, Citadel, all these prop firms, real prop firms, real prop firms. SMB Capital, T3, and some of those others. But those are like the newer kind of real ones. So bottom line, I'm going to continue to create content around this current model of prop trading. And I'm even going to go one further where I'm really going to even change my website and my educational content around something I'm going to be called Prop Done Right, which is how to truly use these as learning environments for the audiences that care. There are still some people that are going to do what they're going to do, and I get that. But Prop Done Right is simply going to mean how to trade a small account on a risk-adjusted basis, and then when you're ready, and for as long as you're allowed to, you can copy that small account across 3 or 5 or maybe even more, okay? And I'm going to show in just a moment how I do that with a couple live accounts, just for those that have kind of like a who's this guy and why should I believe him and show us your statements kind of hard on things. So I'm not even going to log into like the statement thing. I'll just show it to you in my bank account, okay? And I'll log in live in just a second. So here are the 3 things that I kind of, maybe 3 or 4 things that I want to cover in terms of what you're not supposed to do, which is trading advice. So the first thing is educate yourself about real futures trading, okay? Educate yourself about real futures trading. And let me show you just briefly what that means. All right, this video is going so long that the sun is starting to shift in my office, so it looks kind of like the mound today at the Dodgers game where the Dodgers did lose this afternoon. So I just Googled and went to interactive brokers margins, all right? And I know there'll be some of you that will say, well, don't use interactive brokers, use a futures-only FCM or broker because they offer day trader margins. So here's my first piece of advice, or just this is a little rant. Low account minimums and day trader margin are the worst thing that ever happened to the futures markets because all it did was take a levered product and make it even more levered. So, have at it if you want to put $2,500 in AMP and trade 5 minis because there's $500 day trader margin. But that's truly not real. And that's closer to reality, but it's what's happening in prop programs are even further away. So I just want to highlight a few things here. Here's the MYM. This is the micro DAO, right? This is what I suggest people learn how to manage risk and trade because it's pretty small. It's 50 cents a tick, okay? I won't get into all this various stuff, overnight, maintenance, whatever. I'm just going to choose one column here, which is just simply sort of the maintenance margin. $1,078.57. Okay, if you had a $2,500, that's 100% of your account value, $50,000 account, one of these prop firms, you could hold, if you will, or be properly margined to trade 2 micros. 2 micros. Now let's just take a second. I don't even know where it is. Let's go down to the NASDAQ, the full NQ. I should have probably done this ahead of time. Maybe I'll edit it out so you don't have to deal with this. There's MNQ. MNQ is $1,722. Here's the NQ. Wait for it. $17,227.24. I'm going to pause for a moment because hopefully this will begin to connect, and the video is probably already 45, 50 minutes long, so I might have to break it up into other things. A long masterclass here. Hopefully you understand how if it cost you $17,000 to trade one NQ contract at a real brokerage, Interactive Brokers, which by the way, this is not I'm not recommending, I don't have affiliate links for them. There's plenty of choice out there. But if you really, really wanted to move from sort of retail to something like a professional trader, you're going to want to aspire to have the biggest Interactive Brokers account you can. They're the place where we all are. True professional traders do not trade at AMP. Okay, there are a lot of guys on YouTube that have $10 or $20 or $30,000 at AMP. I have $5,000 at all kinds of tiny little small FCMs, including NinjaTrader, so that I can show that there are places where you can open up a small account and do what we do. I don't think you can open an account at Interactive Brokers for less than 25 grand. I could be wrong. But the point of this is that learn what the buying power really is for these highly levered products, and then understand that in these prop programs, even though they let you, if you are doing it any different, you are not practicing for reality. You are not becoming a better trader. You are not becoming a better risk manager. You are not understanding this marketplace, okay? And I'll say one more time, just because they let you doesn't mean you should, or just because they let you or this is their rules does. And people, you guys are so hung up on their rules. And I kind of get that, because you're like, hey, I'm only doing this for the money. That's what a lot of you are saying. I'm only doing this for the money. For a lot of you, it's a quick shortcut too. And I should stop saying a lot, because I was referring to the fact that the a lot is actually a minority. There are actually a lot that are taking it slow, that are trading static, that are doing some of the things that I've talked about on my channel for over 3.5 years since these programs kind of popped up. But if you choose to go in and trade 5 accounts, 10 accounts, max size, max contracts, or even one, you're over-leveraged and you will never keep that account and never make it. And those of you that have figured that out, that's why you're pissed. You're pissed because you figured it out, sort of, and the way you did that is by saying, here's the only way to beat them. They allow me to do this, so I'm going to blow and go, bow and go, activate hundreds and hundreds of PAs. And now that, yes, the party is over, are there some people out there that were doing that and paid a lot of money to Apex and other firms and now are going to get cut off? Yes, there are. But I implore you to not defend those people, okay? Don't defend those people. And if you want to do this right, see if you can get through these programs trading with proper margin, which is 2 micro contracts. 2 micro contracts is reality. Okay, so we talked about margin. Now the next thing that I would suggest you do is actually go to the real source of truth, which is the CME. Okay, so I'm on the website. You just, I'll leave links to everything in the description down below. And I'm going to keep saying this. There seems to be a lot of people that don't understand that there's even a description, like a whole block of text with links and stuff below YouTube videos. Because even if when I say in the video that they're there, no one goes and looks for them. And then I even pin them in the comments and still people don't find them. So, navigate, learn your way around that a little bit. Couldn't help but do that. So cmegroup.com, there will be a link in the description below. This is where you want to continue your education. And you can come over here and sign up for an account. I'm actually logged in, all right? And if you don't want to go to Interactive Brokers because it's very broker specific, then you can come over here and begin to research and understand how these contracts are constructed, what their trading hours are. I mean, many of you know that because you know the trading hours that the prop firms allow you to trade. But actually, real brokers sometimes will close positions at various different times. They'll change margins at various different times as well. What the prop programs say is maybe just don't trade during this time. Obviously, brokers don't say you can't trade. They just change the margin so that your buying power during that time is different. And there's an entire education area over here with courses and all this kind of stuff. It's a little dry. It's the guys from Chicago, guys and gals. It's a little dry, but it's a great place to start. So the first thing is learn what your margins are. The next thing is go to the CME group to begin to educate yourself really about these programs and how they work so that you can prepare for the future, pun intended. All right, step 3, and you probably knew where I was going with this. If you're able to, open up a live account. And I just mentioned that you should aspire to something like Interactive Brokers if that's not possible. And many of you might also be in a country where it's not really easy to get access to futures brokers, and that's why you're using the prop programs, which is what I understand that. But most of my audience is in the US, and I'm not going to make a brokerage recommendation. I've mentioned some already. There's NinjaTrader, there's TradeStation, there's Interactive Brokers, there's Tastywork, there's AMP. What I'm going to do here is just show you what's possible with a very small account, backing it up again for those of you who have this sort of show me the statement crowd. So let's do that. Okay, we're over here at Bank of America, one of the places that I bank. See if we can log in, do this in real time. All right. I'm going to click on this. This is where the money from these accounts goes. I'm going to enter a keyword, Ninja. Okay. And then I made a deposit of $5,000 into this account on August 1st or 2nd. So here it is right here. Okay, so that's $5,000 from my account to them. I'd like to point out then what took place after that. This is trading 2 micros only. 2 micros only. 27th, $500 withdrawal. Sorry, deposit. Withdrawal from my Ninja brokerage account, deposit to my bank account. 3 days later, another $500. On 9/11, interesting date, another $750. On 9/16, another $850. On this date, 9/20, another $500, and right here, $750. Okay, I show this to you for 3 reasons. One, I think this is much more approachable than some guy, I don't know, trading 20 or 40, whatever, brokerage accounts with all rhythmic up. And I mean, that's just all nonsense. Stop watching that. Like, why are you watching that? It's just useless, okay? So what I'm showing this for is that this is reality. This is what's possible with a small account. This is what's possible with micros. And this is what future-proofs you from potentially what could happen in the prop industry. I'm trying to get ahead of this. And again, I don't know. I do hope it sticks around, because for the people that use it properly, I'm a broken record here. I've never seen a better time since the micros were introduced in 2019, because right when those got introduced, I got back into trader education and something miraculously happened. I did the same thing, but because people were not using as highly a levered product, when we only had the mini, we only had the mini. We couldn't trade small accounts that way with the mini because we were instantly over-leveraged. And the amount of people that had $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 to, 1, pay an educator, and then 2, go through the pain of kind of losing their real money. Yeah, you could stay on sim, but we all know what that was like, right? People didn't want to stay on sim too long. And now you have micros and you have the ability to get paid on a simulator. So there you go. I mean, if you want to call that social proof, you can call it social proof. Let me also just log into another account over here, just very briefly. This is called, this is StoneX. This is actually now kind of the clearing firm for Tradier futures as well. Okay, I started this account this month, and I'm making this video right around the middle of October with $5,000 in it. It now has $5,848. So the same withdrawals that you saw on NinjaTrader, I could have done here over the last couple months as well. Actually, just this month. But I chose to leave the money in there, and just the other day, I took $750. So what I often say in my group is that my job is, I mean, yes, I know how to trade, and I also know how to show a trading strategy system approach that will work for small accounts. And then you can then apply that to copiers and all those other things. I hope you understand or picking up what I'm putting down. And then also this strategy or approach works for live accounts if this all goes away. You can do the exact same thing. Not every month, not always consistently. Skill levels are going to differ. I've done this for 30 years. But I do this only to show what I call the first part of the miracle equation, which is have unwavering faith and then put in the extraordinary effort. That's a book by Hal Elrod, who actually got through stage 4 cancer, is a pretty cool motivational speaker, okay? Overcame way bigger things than trying to figure out how to, apply this to the miracle that we're going to create here, which is the miracle of, hey, can I really take a small amount of money and pay my mortgage every month? Yes, you can. Can I take a small amount of money and cover almost all of my expenses anywhere in the world? Yes, you can. And you can because of learning the skill. Don't go to bots. Don't focus everything on how to pass prop programs some other weird way other than pass a prop program by learning how to trade a small account on a risk-adjusted basis using a daily risk budget and micros. That will be a skill that no prop firm can ever take away from you. Okay, we're in the home stretch, which is great because it's almost dark in my office. This is how long it's taken me to record this. So the final part is probably the part that's the most self-serving, but I know I can help people, so I'm going to use whatever voice I have to try to do that. And this doesn't apply just to me. It's just my life view. Obviously, everything I'm saying is sort of my life view. It's all coming from my noodle to right down here. But if you can, in this crazy world, just do your best to seek out like individuals that actually put faces on their videos, or you can go to my LinkedIn profile, or that have some verifiable presence, some, direct source for the information that they disseminate. Just start there. If you can manage to stumble your way onto just somebody that you don't have to believe me, you can think the idea that, refresh the page, man, you doctored that. You doctored this statement. I just logged in my bank account. I just showed you one thing. I have plenty of other proof. But even that aside, look me up on LinkedIn, Roderick Casilli. Okay, look at my background. Don't get your information from like websites and forums and chat rooms and posts or with links to like dumpster fire rabbit hole stuff. And I'll state again, or some like freaking YouTuber that's entire orientation to creating trading education entertainment is like streaming 40 rhythmic demo accounts, or Top Step guys that are proud of the fact that they drew down their house account by $100,000. So you might not trust me, but I really would prefer to not make much content going forward about specific prop programs or whatever it is that is what draws the attention so that I can get a different message out there. But I probably am still going to do it. So if you made it all the way to the end, I just have a couple things. This is where I will ask you to like, share, comment. I started this whole video as the Apex Aftermath, and at this point, it has really nothing to do with Apex specifically. So I have a trade room with a 2-week free trial. I trade every single day in front of hundreds of traders. It's a very supportive group. We are mostly Gen Xers, so if you're not into that kind of thing, might not be the right group for you. We like to play a lot of, yacht rock and have fun. I'm soon going to have a Discord, which I will also update this video as soon as the free Discord is ready. And, let me just close with this, as I mentioned before. Apex and every other prop firm using the current model, which was gone into in excruciating detail in that interview, they have zero basis in reality. So you might not like Apex or any of the other firms that are around again because of Apex, but what you have to understand is that it's augmented reality. So what you're doing is really falling victim to the Seneca quote that I put at the very front of this video, is that this conflict is in your imagination more so than in reality, because none of this is reality. It's like a game that you're playing, and I'd like to show everybody how to play it properly so that they develop the skill they can use in the future. So for a very small investment in the stuff that I offer, and I mean it's small, like you can participate in my trade room for like $2 a day if you decided to become a lifetime member. Well, I don't even know. If I'm around for long enough at double nickel, it can end up being You know, it's diminishing returns for me and increasing value for you. But that's all I offer, folks. I might have some courses and stuff in the future, but all I offer is a one-to-many trade room, because the only way to develop the skill of trading is by watching someone that knows what they're doing and practicing deliberately. Okay? Watching, learning, asking questions, practicing. And I know that people can't be in a trade room all the time. No problem. Things are recorded. Hopefully you come and check me out, because the windows on these opportunities are going to be ephemeral. All right? I don't know the dates and I don't know exactly when, but you can use them right now in conjunction with developing the skills that no one can ever take from you. And that's not how to trade, but how to be a trader. Professional traders only do one thing, and that's manage risk. Thanks if you made it to this part. Do like, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications, you know, all that stuff. And maybe if you think if there's anyone that can't sleep and wants to listen to someone talk on YouTube about trading for 45 minutes, or who knows how long this video is, please do share it. We'll see you at the next one. Thanks.